Well, you know, holiday spending will take a big dent in most people's budgets because when they budget annually for gifts, they usually don't reserve enough of that for Christmas and the December time frame with what's going on. So for most of us, unless we've set aside a special Christmas savings account during the year, holiday spending is going to have to cause us to tighten our belts on other expenses that we make. The best scenario is to create a budget for the holidays before the holidays arrive. So what I would encourage everybody to do now is that if you're in trouble this year, let's get through this year, but let's think about next year. And if you think that you want to spend $1,000 on gifts during the holiday season among family and other friends, then you should be looking at setting aside $80 or $90 a month beginning in January so that you have at the end of November enough money to be doing that. If you're saying let's budget it now, what you probably need to do is say, okay, for the month of November and most of December, we're going to cut back on movies, entertainment, extra clothing, the items that we don't absolutely have to have so that we can spread that money among the new purchases that we want to make. Well, the most common mistake made by holiday shoppers is buying too much. You know, a gift is a good way to show somebody that you're thinking about them during the holiday season, but many people seem to think that if it's shopping for children, they need to supply everything on the want list, or if it's shopping for spouses, it should be something really big and spectacular and super duper. And in fact, it's the giving of the gift that counts, and what we need to do is help consumers understand that they need to focus on the thought and the season and the spirit. It's not specifically the amount of money that you spend, it's the amount of love that's in your heart when you give that gift. So if you haven't saved a lot at this point in time, you need to start looking for those things that are special and meaningful as opposed to really expensive. We can just do special things for people that don't necessarily cost a lot of money, but they're more meaningful along the way. For example, one of the things that I have one of my friends doing for Christmas, she's going to her father's house and scanning and making digital copies of all the family heirloom photographs. And that's not going to be super expensive for her to do because she already has the computer equipment, but she's going to be able to give him a little photo album that has all of this stuff captured, and then now it's also captured and she's just giving CD copies of all this work to all the other family members as their Christmas gift. So that's an idea. There's a lot of service that can be done for parents and children around the house. Grandparents could offer free babysitting services and coupons to cash in during the year. Children can offer housework to be cashed in during the year. So there's a lot of ways to create experiences as opposed to gift items, and that's usually less expensive. And also, there's probably more love and a good relationship built that way. If you've already exceeded your spending goals, then the first thing you have to do is sit down and look at your budget and decide where you can carve some money out in the months going forward. Most of us do have discretionary money in the budget for special nights out on the town, and maybe we can give up part of those. We have money in there for entertainment, and maybe we can cut out part of that. And what we need to do is realize that right after the holidays, we probably don't need a lot of new clothes, and we probably don't need to go on a special vacation. And so we need to start looking at ways that we can meet the needs of the family, but not necessarily the wants, because we've just spent a good bit of time focusing on wants during that holiday season. If you have money to pay off, that's your first agenda. And what I would really encourage you to do is to look at how much you need to pay off plus how much you need for the following year in order to pay cash. And then at that point, set up a monthly schedule over the next basically 10 months, January through October, where you are paying so much money per month to either pay off this past year's giving or to be putting money aside in just a regular savings account in order to be prepared for next year. So for example, if you have run up $1,200 in debt and you think you'll spend $1,200 next year, that's $2,400, then you need to look for $250 a month in your budget to carve out to prepare for next year. If you say, oh, that's too much, I can't do that, then do whatever you can above what you spent this year so that you can at least start with part of it paid for next year.